let us say that you are in your stealth vehicle, your minivan, or maybe something a little bigger, but it doesn't really look like something somebody's camping in. At least we hope. So your idea is you decide to pick some random city to hang out, let's say a week. Let's just say Omaha, Nebraska, a nice middle-sized city in middle America. And so you go to this city and you decide, okay, I'm going to hang out there about a week. And then you just want to say, how can I stay under the radar? How can I walk among these people's grid without actually entering their grid or being entered into this grid of this place? And so what you do is you have to find some places where you can camp out. And so what you do is you decide that apartments would be a good place to camp. I mean, there's other places to stealth camp, but apartments are a good place. So we'll just scan out maybe some different apartment buildings. I mean, they're nice. Usually there's lots of people parked outside there, lots of cars coming and going, friends, family, whatever. They aren't going to notice your one little van parked outside of there, as long as you're not doing something stupid like blasting Sopranos reruns or something on there, on your subwoofer or something. They're probably not going to notice it while you got your LED lights flashing. So you just find, some places to stealth camp. So you stop at a local coffee shop, because you will need to use your laptop. This stealth procedure is going to take a little more power than your little phone can do. So we want to stop at a Starbucks or something. So you go there, you put on your glasses, and then you make sure no one's looking at your computer. You scan the area. You're like a secret agent looking for spots. So the first thing you do is you're opened up to Google Maps, but Google Maps, that's okay for the amateurs, but we want to look at Google My Maps. So we go to Places and Maps, and then we create our own map here. We're not just like the average person who just goes by the maps that are given to them. We make our own maps, and then we just call this new map. We can call it whatever we want. Let's just call it like 007 map exercise. Okay. Alright, so we go ahead and put that in there. And now we've got our own little map here. And now what we do here is, now we've got to zoom back into Omaha here. One of the flaws in the system here that we just got to deal with. And one of the things we want to do first of all, though, after we can figure out where Omaha is change the base map here. Because this, just regular maps, they went out a long time ago. If you don't have a satellite map, you're nothing, okay? So, alright, so now you zoom into a good level. Omaha. Okay, and then I put apartments here. And it should, if the thing's working right, show all the apartments within that searched area. It kind of seems like there should be more than that, but okay, that's the ones that Google's given us. So once you have your list on here, you can actually go through and kind of scan these out and take a look, and then get some idea what the place is like pretty quickly by just kind of going through them like this. So, okay, so what you can do is just click on this one, the first one on the list. And one thing you always want to do is view on Google Maps, because that's going to actually be the regular Google Maps is what that is. It's going to give you the street view and all that. And then for some reason each time I have to keep switching this to satellite, so that's kind of a pain, but you'll really need it to be satellite to really get an idea. So you can see that, like, yeah, it looks like, okay, so the number one key thing is you do not want to park in actual marked apartment spots that are actually made for the apartment. What you want to park on a public street that's near enough to the apartment that there's kind of like overflow, people parking there. And if you're the only, and you don't want to be the only car that's there either, so you want to be excuse me. So okay, yeah, this looks like this would probably be okay. You could probably park, there'll probably be people parked here, or maybe on this street here, which you can't go down on street view. And then it looks like maybe maybe some people might be parked over on this road over here too. Yeah, well, that looks like kind of a long way to walk up there, maybe. Or you could probably no parking. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, people would probably be parking up here too. Okay, so I'm going to put that down as then. So I add this to map, which then it takes it off of this list, which is good because then that makes it easier for you not to try to do work on something you've already looked at. And then what you can do is actually, you can leave it this color, or what you could do is go ahead and just, what I would do is make it green for, not to be confused with the other green, but these will all be gone once you're done. So just leave that as green as go. Okay, and let's just do a couple more. And then, okay, so one that was a good example here is, which I wanted to do this all just candid, just without any preparation, but then it turned out that I've had my screen capture program screw up like 3 times on me, so now I kind of know which one is which. I'm kind of almost like pretty acquainted with Omaha's geography. But okay, so if you want to look at this one now, Maple View Apartments. Now, okay, so you can see this isn't too good. The parking looks like you could maybe park on this street here, if you want to park on a public street, but the only problem here is, no parking 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. And I already went up down this whole street and found like that's the case for the whole thing. So yeah, they didn't want, the people living in these houses didn't want the people from these apartments parking over here and coming out, or whatever, in the middle of the night or whatever. So anyway, so okay, so this one's not good. And then, alright, so this was called, what was this called again? It was called Maple View Apartment. Okay, so go ahead and Maple View, we'll add it to the map, but this time we'll make it red. Okay, and then, alright, and then let's see another good example here. Okay, Riverbend. I'm not going to do all these, but just do a couple to give you an idea. Okay, I'll go ahead and open this in Google Maps. Okay, and then once I got this and I switch over to satellite, I see that yeah, this looks pretty good. Let's see, I think so. If I go to this street here, okay, yeah, so this looks oh yeah, it looks like definitely you probably see some people parked out here is my guess. I mean, I don't see no parking signs. Yeah, it seems like definitely, I bet you have like in the evening people kind of like lined up on both of these sides, so that'd be a good one. Go ahead and mark that one, add it to the map, but you never know until you actually go though, so unfortunately. And then I guess you could even come up with a more complicated system of like ranking it or something, from like the really good ones to the bad ones. And then let's just see one like, okay, this will be the last one I'll do like this, and then so now yeah, like I said before, you notice how all these, they go down there once you get done with that. And let's see, okay, Apple Creek view on Google Maps, and this one, okay, yeah, this one was just, I'm not going to go through the whole street view thing, but basically it didn't seem like there was really any place to park like on a public street except for maybe on this section here, and that seemed kind of so-so. So that one, what I would do is I'd add it to the map and just maybe just make it yellow for caution. So now you've completed stage 1 of intelligence gathering of the section. You've learned a lot of information. Now you have a map here which you've neatly coded the different possible stealth camping locations and your assessment of them. The red ones you're probably not going to even drive by unless you happen to be, except you might drive to these two because they're right next to a green one. You might figure, okay, yeah, since I'm right there, I maybe go ahead and drive. Maybe things have changed. I mean, you never know. Google Maps does change. You can go ahead and just check those out. But anyway, so what you can do now is you can either further change what you put on here. Like, let's say you go by this one, and then you could, let's say you could do all this during the evening between like 9 and 10. You could drive around, just look at all these the first night, or you could just go to the ones that just in one particular part of town instead of driving around and just so you see this area and you say, oh, it's good, so you put a star here, meaning for everyone that you've actually viewed from the ground. And then you go ahead while you're there and you see this one too, and you say, oh, that's a star, but it's still, you've confirmed that you cannot, it's not one you should go to. And let's say you go to this one and then you star it, but then you say, you know what, I really think this one would be okay to camp at, and then you do this. Okay, so you could do it like that, and then you could also, let's say, go to a certain area. Let's say you go to these areas, and you go ahead and scan this one first, but you're not planning on actually staying at this one. You say, oh, I'll go ahead and star that. Yeah, it's good, because I know that I've seen it. And then you decide I'm going to go to this one, and then so what you do is you go and you say, okay, yeah, I'm going to stay at this one tonight. So what you do is in the morning, everything worked. Let's say everything worked out fine. You go ahead and just put that like a sleep here. See, hey, isn't that kind of cute? Like, okay, this little sleep thing. This is one that you actually stayed at before. And then what you could do is, if let's say you didn't have a good experience there for whatever reason, got interrupted by a cop or it was too noisy, you could put a red there if you don't want to stay at it there again. So you could just go around the rotation. Now, if you want to keep track of a little better of which ones you've been to recently, because we know you want to keep the rotation as wide as possible in stealth camping, you'd like to maybe only go to one place once a week if possible, or something like that, or at least maybe once every few days. Then what you could do is you could actually edit this, and you could put like stayed and slept well on XXX dates. Okay, and then what you could do is even put it up here. You could put like stayed x.x.xx. Okay, and you can imagine like after a while what would happen is you would see the different ones with this icon, and then, okay, that should be stayed, not stayed, but close enough. And you can kind of say like, oh, which ones have I stayed at recently, and then which ones are my choices. You know, you can kind of see, you can go through this. Oh, here's the ones I've stayed at recently, and maybe you could just put even numbers here, like, you know, how many, you could update it each day and put like how many days it's been since you stayed there or something like that. But anyway, this was just to give you an idea of the power of using Google My Maps in order to plan your stealth camping procedure. And there's all kinds of variations you can do on here. Once you learn it, you can edit things and put all kinds of useful information and save this for future usage. And you can even obviously put even other stuff on there. You could put shopping malls, or I mean not shopping malls, like parking lots and Walmart and whatnot. And by the way, you can also like I think I may have mentioned this before, but by default it shows that this private only can access by you, but you can actually, if there's any van dwellers that you trust and whatnot, you can also send one of the links to this to them, and they could actually like collaborate. You could show them what your map is, you know, send it by email or whatever, and then you could do that too. So you could say like, oh yeah, this is my experience, and then it'd be kind of a good thing if a bunch of people could send these Google Maps to each other, or they could post them online on YouTube too if they feel comfortable doing that. It's just, I don't know, it's up to them, you know, how much of their information they really want to share, if they think it's worth it, because obviously this whole making van dwelling videos, it's really making your private life pretty public to begin with. So I mean, it maybe, you know, it doesn't matter, but yeah, this is a different way for people to kind of share their experiences of what's going on. But anyway, but of course there's other websites that already, you know, like free campsites, or people already kind of put their experiences on like this. But this is a good way for you to kind of plan out your adventure, and it's one more tool in the struggle for stealthiness in a world which no longer likes stealthiness. Have a good day from Hidden Highways. Like yellow instead. Okay.